Hello, my name is Dr. Robert Leahy. I'm a psychologist and a professor of psychology in the psychiatry department at Weill Cornell in New York City, and I'm also the director of the American Institute for Cognitive Therapy in New York City. I'm the author of a new book called If Only: Finding Freedom from Regret, which I hope you'll find interesting and helpful. I've been interested in decision making and especially how people handle regret, how people make decisions, how they anticipate regret. So I wrote this book to bring to you some of the ideas that I've been working with, which I hope will be of use to you. Like many therapists, I've seen how many clients often dwell on regrets about their past decisions. Sometimes these regrets last years, sometimes even decades. So you see people in their 70s, 80s, even 90s holding on to regrets of things that happened many, many years ago. And I also see how people anticipate regret in the future if they make a change. So they think if I break up a relationship or take a new job or buy a new product, I may very well regret that decision in the future. So we have regrets about the past and we can anticipate regrets about the future. Regret is such a common emotion. In fact, the research actually shows that regret is the second most common mentioned emotion, love being the first. So regret is all around us almost all the time. Regret is what I call the possibility emotion. It's the emotion that comes from our fantasies about how our lives could be different, how our lives could be better if we made a different decision. There's a lot that I cover in the book, but I wanted to highlight a few main points. The first is regret always a bad thing? Is it always a negative emotion? But maybe not. Maybe regret actually can be useful. Just think of it this way. Since regret is a universal emotion, it stands to reason that it evolved because it had some value. What could this value be? In my book, I make a distinction between productive regret and unproductive regret. Productive regret can lead to problem solving and learning from your experience. Productive regret can lead to making an apology and saving your relationship. But unproductive regret involves dwelling for long periods of time on what you did or did not do. It leads to getting stuck on your thoughts and feelings. It leads to self-criticism rather than self-correction and growth and change. In fact, regret actually can be useful to children. The research actually shows that children who express regret are better at making decisions. They learn from their experience. They can anticipate how things can go wrong, and so they make wiser decisions. Are there some people who anticipate few regrets? Yes, absolutely. For example, could the lack of regret contribute to impulsive, aggressive, and self-defeating behavior? Absolutely. Are there certain personality types who seem to lack the ability to have realistic regrets? For example, some people who seem to need to always be right rather than use their mistakes to correct their behavior, to apologize, or to learn. In my book, If Only: Finding Freedom from Regret, I ask you to think about how regret can help you. Regret can help regulate your behavior, keep you from acting out impulsively. It can help you learn from your experience. What went wrong? How can I correct it? It can help you plan in the future. So for example, if I do plan A versus plan B, what could go wrong and how can I avoid that? It helps you correct yourself, learning how you can change your behavior so next time you do a better job. It can help you apologize so you can rescue the relationships that might be at risk of rupturing. It can boost your motivation to change. You can say, well, I'm challenged by that and I can try harder, or I can learn it from it. I can look at it from a different point of view. It allows you to experiment in your mind. It allows you to think about things that could go wrong and how they could go right, and carry out that experiment in your mind rather than have to actually go through it with your behavior. And keep in mind that it's always cheaper to learn from the mistakes of others. I think that when we look around at people who overdrink or misuse drugs or don't take their medication or spend too much money or act out impulsively or engage in infidelity, we can learn from those mistakes that other people make so that we don't have to make the mistakes. So these are just some of the points that I try to lay out in my book, If Only: Finding Freedom from Regret. And I hope you have a chance to read it, and I hope it helps you. Thanks for listening.